Alright guys, so I figure we should probably start with the defense because that was probably the poorest out of the two positional groups. There's a lot of weird plays that happened in this game, a lot of things that you could take away from this game. I think the first thing you could probably take away from this game is the slow starts that we've had all year, and that's become a consistent theme over this team and who this team has been. Is the slow starts have really hurt us in some situations, and then we get hot, and then once we start to get going. But it's either one positional group has a bad game, and for reasons, some whether it be injury reasons, it's not talent, I don't think, and I think sometimes our injuries show in certain situations, so let's get into. Now that I say all that kind of stuff, let's get into the defense. So we let up, I think, over 400 yards this game against a pretty decent, not terrible, but pretty bad, like in terms of the things that we let up, not good. One of the best rushing offenses in the NFL, but that's the only thing that they're actually good at, is actually running the football. That's what that team's built to do, is run the football. And we didn't let them run it a lot, other than Colin Kaepernick was the only one who really killed us with his legs. Other than that, we really didn't. I know, and this just comes back to scheme. We're not very gap in tech. The wide nine defense is not read your gaps, make sure you're in the right places, and stuff like that. Now, your rush plan can change week to week, but really, at its core, the wide nine defense is just, stretch, give your pass rushers the best chance to get after the quarterback, and every down, they're just so aggressive. You're not really worried about where your gaps are. What are they doing? How do we, you don't stay in your gap, read and react. You just attack. So a lot of that had to do with, I think, not a lot of that had to do with him getting and finding increases in the defensive line. And I think if there was a non-mobile quarterback this game, then they would have got destroyed. I think some of the plays that Colin Kaepernick made were really, really good in terms of escaping the rush, dodging, would-be tacklers. He did an amazing job. There was one play on fourth down where Jordan Phillips, I thought, was gonna smack him. I don't know how he missed him, but he missed him. It was on fourth down. So I think if there was a pocket passer, it would have been a different game. But Colin Kaepernick, hats off to him. He did a good job of reading the defense and running out of there like what he does. What he's good at. So I think that's what really killed us, was that. I don't understand why we didn't put more spies up. I really don't, especially on third and long. I don't know why the heck we didn't have at least one spy up, or just rush three, have a spy up, because they suck at passing it. So you drop a ton of people back there, rush three, put somebody up there to spy Cap maybe, or maybe we just put Sue back there to spy him. I don't know why he did that. I think we did that one play, and actually I think it worked. I'm pretty sure it worked. So some interesting calls by Vance. I think. Our defense was pretty good all up until the fourth quarter, and then we started left. Even and sometimes in the first half too. I don't know if this was the first half or the third quarter, but they were driving and they were about to score. And Kiko Alonso comes up so clutch with, he punches out, I think it was Brent Selleck, comes up right behind him and punches it out for a fumble. Kiko Alonso had an amazing game this game. Not so much against the run defense. There's some certain plays where he got caught up in. He does this a lot. He gets caught up in the offensive line. He's not a very big linebacker. He doesn't do a really good job of reading and reacting with, especially when they run the ball. I don't understand why he attacks and then, oh well, I got caught in the line, and then there's a huge gap. There's nobody there to fill it. I don't know why he does that so much. But he did do that a lot of games. It's probably one thing he really needs to work on. Is definitely. Kiko's just not that. I don't know. He's never been that in terms of, he's never been really good against the run, unless he knows what the play is and you can read it. He's just not very good between the busting up a line or getting in the trenches. Not very good at that, and that shows. And obviously, the fact that we're missing Rashard Jones, I think that shows up every single game with how they attack our safeties and with tight ends. That's what Chip did this game, right up the seam. He did that a lot. But I can't even remember what I started talking about here. But there was a couple times where they could score, and Kiko got a turnover there with the fumble. Some of their drives stalled out, but overall, I think our defense played pretty bad. I think, and I know this sounds weird, but I think a lot of that had to do with Colin. I think Colin had a really good game in terms of just keeping plays alive, finding drives. There's a lot of stupid plays. I think there was one play, I don't know if it was the third down or fourth down, but we didn't seem to know where the sticks were in terms of where the first down was, and we kind of let him. You're supposed to let him get the short route, come up and tackle short of the first down. And I don't know what we did. I don't know where we thought it was. Either that or we just didn't get a good job of coming up to tackle him. But we let him have the first down. Just a lot of mental mistakes like that. There's a play, the red zone, first of all, that touchdown that Torrey Smith had, that should have been a penalty. That should have been offensive pass interference. So I won't talk about that. That was basically cheating. But the one where he did the stupid Chip Kelly thing, he play action, tight end coming across the middle of the that's such an easy. All that's just assignments, man. You lose your assignment, you get confused, and that's what happens. And that's what Chip Kelly's offense does very, very well. He's a very good offensive coordinator. But I thought overall we didn't do terrible. We did pretty. We did pretty bad, but it wasn't. I think a lot of that had to do with Colin. I don't think it was mainly on our defense. And some things. One thing I would change was towards the end of that game, we wanted them to waste clock in terms of, make sure they take a long time to score, which they did. We weren't as aggressive. But then I really don't think we weren't. I don't think we were that soft. Another problem is Bobby McCain's been getting exposed a lot. I think Bobby, he has some good plays and he has some really bad plays. I don't know if that's because he's young. Hopefully that's just kind of. I hope some plays he just gets beat, and I don't know what's going on with Bobby. I don't want to just say he's a terrible player yet, but man, he gives in terms of everybody on our defense giving up big plays. Bobby, I think by far has given up the biggest plays this year. He needs to definitely. I don't know what we're gonna have to do with that, and obviously we can't put Michael Thomas in nickel back now because he's mainly he's mainly a safety now. So again, in terms of positives, crap and Kiko Alonso, he's been a great player all year in pass coverage, all around pretty dang good. Only thing I would just a little bit better against the run, I think, is what we need from him. But that's not what he does, and that's not why he's here. He's here to drop back and cover stuff like that. I can never say his name right. But Rambo, I can't remember. I don't know how you say his name. First, I don't know why anybody didn't want him. He's been an amazing addition to this team in terms of just coming off the street and just being a solid starter on our defense. Just makes play. He should have had a pick six. Just barely missed the pick six. Just dropped it. Obviously, E.C. Abdul-Quddus has been playing amazing for us. Neville Hewitt's been very, very good. Sue's having probably one of his best seasons, maybe his best. Cam Wake's having one heck of a season. Andre Branch, one of the most versatile players in the NFL. I think the positives are there. I think, like I said, it had more to do with how Colin Kaepernick played than our defense. I think he just made some really, really good plays. And some of those plays, I'm telling you, man, I don't know how he's so fast. And like I said, our defense doesn't play to that in terms of gap integrity and stuff like that. I think that had a lot to do with it. I don't think it was anything to do with our players. There was a lot of fourth downs that we should have stopped them on, and some bad calls there. Colin rushed. He had picked up a lot of first downs with his legs. I think it had a lot to do with Colin, more about Colin than it was our defense. Now, you guys could feel differently. I think as soon as we get Xavier Howard back, this defense is just going to be even that more. It's been great all year, but it's just going to be even that much better because you have obviously Xavier Howard before he got hurt was playing pretty dang good. Especially, I was kind of hard on him, but especially when you go back and watch it, he was playing pretty dang good. And from what you hear from the coaches, everything else, like they believe he's gonna be like a star cornerback in the league. And then you got Byron Maxwell, who's been playing solid all year, and Tony Lippett, who's more of an outside corner, not a slot guy, but that's a whole nother thing because Tony's been playing pretty dang good too. The quarterback's been really surprised. I think all of us thought, out of everything on our defense, before Rashad got hurt, everything else, and our linebackers got hurt, which we probably, we knew that was going to happen with Koa and everything. But before that happened, the weakness of this defense was the secondary in terms of the corners. They've been playing above and beyond. Tony Lippett, everybody in the national media is talking about Tony like, oh man, sure, if you heard Charles Davis talk about him, they think, he thinks he's going to be a very solid NFL corner. Surprised the heck out of me, especially since last year. Even Dan Campbell last year, when he was interim head coach, said that Tony's gonna be a good player, and he was right. Tony's pretty dang good. So Byron Maxwell, he's got called for a lot of penalties, but other than that, been playing pretty solid. I think one thing I like about Byron is he gets away with stuff sometimes. I love players that gets away with things sometimes. That's especially when it comes into crunch time. They're savvy like that. Veterans, some plays like Akeem Talib in the AFC Championship grabbed Gronk so he couldn't kill. Stuff like that. I like that. I like that in my veteran players. I like that. I think you should have that as a defense. I like that a lot. Especially, and a lot of 49ers fans crying about the Torrey Smith thing. I'm like, well, you guys, we should have offensive pass interference, but that didn't happen. Not everything goes your way. But anyway, overall for our defense, a lot of positives. And I know it wasn't a great day on defense. It was pretty bad. But Tony, man, for the future, this team is going to be very good for a long time, especially on defense. You got obviously when Rashard comes back, Xavier gets healthy. Tony's going to be a solid player in the future for a long time. I don't know if he'll be a star, but he'll be a very solid NFL starter. Byron Maxwell, I don't know what his contract details are. Yeah, too good, but I don't know if I can't remember if he's gonna be a free agent after this year or not. I can't think of it, right now. But Bakari Rambo, I think that's how you say his name. He's gonna be solid for a while. So we got a lot of good young players. Obviously, Andre Branch been a huge surprise. Issa Abdul Qaddus, he's gonna be really good if he's young. He's gonna be pretty solid for the future. Ton of depth on this team. Neville Hewitt, he could become something really good. Kiko Alonso, he's young. So this defense is really, this defense could be good for a very long time. Got a lot of great young talent on it, and I'm proud, man. Whatever happens at the end of this year, all I can tell you guys is this team has a really, really, really bright future between the talent on the offense, the young talent on the offense. So this team is so young, so many talent, so much young talent on the defense. Great coaching staff. This team has got a very, very bright future out of it. So let's get on to the offense now. Our offense had a pretty dang good day. Especially with the cards that they were dealt. Obviously, no Laramie, no Mike Pouncey, no BA, so no Brandon Albert. So yeah, that's pretty. That alone right there is pretty bad, and so we had to start. Sam Young was back. We had obviously Anthony back in the middle, Craig back at the guard. So that's not very good. You would think, oh no, we're gonna have trouble against, and obviously we had I was about to say Jordan Cameron, but I don't know how much of a difference Jordan Cameron would bring, but that offensive line being torn up. So the cards that we were dealt, not very good. Jarvis still isn't 100% yet. So definitely had some questions going into this game, how good the offense would be. And Ryan Tannehill, so I don't know where we should start. I think we'll start with the run game. The run game was pretty much atrocious all day. They did have an extra guy in the box. They were basically saying, I dare you to pass it on us. I don't know why they thought that we couldn't, and we showed that we definitely will and can, but they definitely didn't think we could, and we did. So that extra guy in the box, that had a lot to do with it, but poor run blocking all around. There's nothing there. Jay, I think, scored one run, and that was the second half in the fourth quarter. That was it. There was no big runs. We were in down and distance a lot, which isn't good, especially for this offense. Anytime we get in third and crapping 10 plus, it's not very good, especially with the bad offensive line. And I'm talking about with this offensive line. I'm not talking about with the Unicorns. I'm talking about with this offensive line. When we get down a distance with an injured offensive line, this offense, you might as well just say we're punting on third down, because either it's going to be a sack or Ryan's going to have to make a play with his legs in an immaculate play where he's got to throw it up to DP or something like that he's had to do, or find Jarvis crossing the middle or something crazy has to happen to pick up a first down. And you can't do that every single play. You're not going to get a play like that every single third and plus, down and plus. So that's when hopefully we can get healthy this week, because we really need it. But other than the poor run blocking, which was pretty bad all day. It's a terrible run defense, the worst in the NFL by far. I was really surprised, even though we were hurt as bad as we are. Super surprised that we didn't run it a little bit better than we did. But what do you expect from this just decimated, injured offensive lines? But let's get to the passing game. Obviously, Jay did score a touchdown, so he did have a terrible day rushing. But I'm just saying, I thought it was gonna be a whole lot worse than. Going against the worst ranked, run defense, I thought it was gonna be a whole lot better than it was. But let's get to the passing game. Absolutely amazing. Okay, in terms of what you could want. We put up 32 points, basically all tilted on our passing game. Could not get anything going in the run game. That's what you want to see, because that's what our success was on this 6-game win streak, was mainly running the football. So these last few games we showed, well, we can win passing it too, which makes your offense that much more versatile. Obviously Ryan Tannehill has, I think, turned a lot of people. I've always supported him. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on some things that I say about him, but I still believe, since we've drafted the kid, that he's going to be a very good quarterback, and I think he's done nothing but show that. He's made plays for us to win the game on the 6-game win streak. Without him, we don't win a lot of those games. So I think that that alone shows a lot of people. The questions that they had, is he clutch? I think he's not had a clutcher season in this season. He showed us that he can make the big plays when he needs to, when the momentum's on the other team side, when he needs to shift it, when he needs to make a play that good to great quarterbacks make. That's, he's shown that he can do that, make the big throws that he needs to make. And I've always said he's our franchise quarterback, and I think he has proven that regardless of what happens these next few weeks. I think he has proven, you definitely can win with me, and I think he has done nothing to show me that this year. And a lot of the first 5 games of the season when we went 1-4, not only was our roster just absolutely decimated. We're talking about talk about Ryan for just a second. We'll get to everybody else, but not only was I'm not even including not just Ryan, but everybody else on the team. Was decimated with injuries. Not only that, but we just were getting to know Adam Gase's offense, and Adam Gase was just getting to know what our players are good at and what they're not good at. So he still had to feel it out. That had a lot to do with that 1-4 start. You know what I mean? You go back and look at those games. Not a lot of people were in the right spots, and that was repeated throughout the organization throughout that 1-4 start. Just wait. Basically, is what everybody was saying, and they were right. Just be patient. Let us get healthier. Let us get acclimated to the offense, and it has showed. It has definitely showed. So I think Ryan has done nothing. I think I love it. I just love it. I'm just so happy to see this. I'm so happy. It's been amazing for him to make the throws that he's made, especially against division rivals, like the Bills throw. I mean, some of these throws, man. He's just been really, really good, and I'm glad that he's turned some heads. I'm glad that he's, the 49ers are talking about how, he proves to them, because of the defense that they were playing, that yes, he is he's a good quarterback. So, I've always supported him. I know a lot of people don't. Some people disagree with that. Some people still have to see more. Some people are still skeptical. But I've always supported the man. I think he has shown that I think everybody's ever said the deep ball criticism thing. I think that's been that's just been horse crap since it has happened. I just, since it was a criticism, it definitely has gotten better, but I don't think he was so much, he's always had an arm. That's never been a problem. So, I think he's shown that. I think he's shown that he can make the big throws in the big situations against good defenses. The Rams defense, they're very, very good defense. So, he's proved that. And so let's talk about the receivers. They had a great game. I love that Leonte Cruz scored his first touchdown. I've been very high on him since we drafted him. He hasn't got a lot of playing time due to the fact that Case Stills is having an amazing season. Jarvis Landry, obviously he's not going to start over any of those guys. So, and he's primarily a slot guy. He's not an outside guy, especially, he can't learn 2 positions in his rookie season, so they're going to, put him somewhere where they think he can thrive in his rookie season, is obviously in the slot. So, but Leonte Cruz, man, he talked about when he gets the ball being a running back when he catches it. He is so hard to bring down. He's again another great young player that's going to be very good for many years to come. I think he's going to be a very, very good, solid NFL player. But it's great to see him get in the paint in the end zone. It was great to see Devontae Parker have another amazing game. He had 2 plays that were called back that's just special. I mean, what else can you call that but just special, man? And he had one that wasn't. He had to play out to get it. But Devontae Parker is a special player. You just got to stay healthy. He's a number 1 wide receiver. There's no doubt in my mind. If he just stays healthy, he's the guy you have to double team and game plan for week in and week out. Devontae Parker is a straight up beast. So yeah, Devontae Parker, another great young player. It's going to be great for years to come. Jarvis Landry, what else can you say about Juice? If it wasn't for pass protection, Juice would have had a 100-yard day. There was one play where he was wide open. I can't remember if it was a deep post. I can't remember what the route was, but he was wide open. And pressure forced Ryan to, roll out and find Devontae. That was one of the plays that were called back. But if he could get pass protection there, he would have found Jarvis for a touchdown. Jarvis Landry, one of the best receivers in the NFL, has had a little bit. He started really hot. He was one of the hottest receivers in the league. I think injuries has kind of slowed it down a little bit, but he's just gonna get better, healthier and healthier. And like I said before, this offense and this defense are going to do nothing but get better throughout the rest of these weeks. So that's great, man. They're just going to get nothing but better, is all I can say. There's no downfall from here. They're finally getting used to the system that they're in, and we have great players to make plays within the system, and Adam knows what his players are good and bad at. So overall, guys, it's been awesome. Whatever happens after this, I think we have shown that the future is very bright for any Miami Dolphins fan, and I think that's all I really wanted to see this year. Because I said, if you guys remember the Bengals video, if you've been around here a long time, I know that video was short and a lot of people were mad at me about that, but I basically said in that video, I don't know if it was that video, it was like, the one thing that I'm really concerned about in this, when the 1-4 start was, what do we have to look forward to in terms of a future? We have shown, not only do we have a franchise quarterback for the future, I do not think you can debate that. The plays that man has made to win us games, I just don't think you can debate it. And that's just my opinion. I know people are still skeptical, but in my opinion, we have a franchise quarterback. We have a receiver core that's young and talented. Hopefully, I know our number one priority should be retaining Kenny Stills. He's been a beast all year. As a third man out in terms of the depth chart. So we have a franchise quarterback. We have a great receiver core for the future. We have a really good offensive line if it can stay healthy. That's one of the things we need to address in the offseason, is getting depth to that offensive line. That's the only thing that I can really say. That's one thing we really need to do on that offense. Running back Jay, wish his balance was a little bit better. He falls over a lot. Not a very good pass catcher, not very versatile. But Damian Williams, he does all that stuff great. So backfield, young and talented. This offense is going to be really, really good for many years to come. They have a system that they're in that is a very special system. Adam Gates, one of the best offensive minds in the league. Like I said, that was the number one thing that I was really worried about, was what do us fans have to look forward to? And I think there's so much stuff to look forward to on that offense. And on the defense, the same thing. Depends how long Vance is here, but even transcending Vance, I think once he's gone, I think there's still so much talent there. Between Xavier and Tony, I think the one thing we could address is getting maybe a younger pass rusher there. But Andre Branch he's going to be a very solid NFL starter. Cam Wake's going to be good. Our secondary is going to be absolutely so good with Tony, Xavier, Rashard for the future, Issa Abdul-Quddus, Kiko Alonso in the middle, Bakari Rambo, Jelani Jenkins on sub packages. He's not a full-time NFL starter, but he's a really good depth player there. You can sub in certain packages. Very versatile player. He's not an every down guy, but still he's gonna be good. Neville Hewitt, there's still a question mark there, but he has potential to be something pretty good. So, like I said, when we started 1-4, I was like, what does this team have to look forward to? And they have shown nothing but regardless what happens, this team is going to be very good for a very long time. It has a very good core. Very good coaching staff. I'm so happy that this team is what it is. I cannot explain it to you guys in words of how happy I am to see what I have seen. So that is going to be it, guys. I am Skex1383. Let me know down. You know what? I have a question. Let me know what your favorite Dolphin of the year has been. Who's the player that you're like, that's my guy. That's my favorite player on the team. I don't know. I really can't pick one. I love both. I love all of them. I can't really pick one, but if you have one, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one.